Okay, what is up, everyone? Welcome to an all-new episode of BS. I know it's been a week, but hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's being safe. I know things are pretty tough right now. I live in Philly and things are crazy right now. Tragic events fortunately happened. I don't want to really get too much into it because it's an upsetting subject. But hopefully this episode makes your day because I don't want to be. I want to talk about something that people make people happy. I don't want to talk about something that will make people upset. So hopefully this episode makes your day, and hopefully it makes you feel better. So yeah, let's get started. So today, we got a lot of things planned. We got a lot of things in store today. So we're gonna be talking about the review of the 2019 NFL season. So we're just gonna review all the records of each team in the NFL. So see my predictions, and then we'll see what reality was. So what actually ended up happening, the real predictions versus my predicted predictions that were going to happen in the beginning of the season. And I made this week, I think it was the preseason, first week of the preseason. I made this prediction video. Predictions for each NFL team for each division. So, yeah, let's get started. All right. So we're gonna first talk about the AFC East. All right. My prediction as follow. I felt like the AFC. Okay, so AFC East. I thought it was going to be the Patriots going 10-6. They were going to be the leader first, and I felt like it was going to be the Jets at 9-7. They were going to be the second team in their division. I'm ranked second, and then I thought it was going to be the Dolphins, ranked third at 5-11, and ranked fourth. I thought it was going to be 3-13, ranked dead last. So it was the Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, Bills. That's how I thought things were going to go. But in reality, and Patriots 12-4, Bills 10-6, Jets 7-9, third, and coming in last, Miami Dolphins at 5-11. At least I got one thing right. I got the stinking Dolphins right. Wow, I got them right. Okay. Well, I mean, that's at the end of the video. We're gonna be scoring. Let's see what my grade is for how correct my predictions were. So, all right. So let's review the first prediction. The Patriots. I thought they were gonna go 10-6, but they ended up going 12-4. But they actually played the way I thought they were gonna play. I thought Tom Brady was gonna have a down year. I felt like I had a weird feeling about they were gonna fall apart for some reason halfway through. Sorry about that. Halfway through the season, and I was right about that. I mean, they ended up falling apart because of the receivers being traded away and key players on their defense being released or traded. Same thing with our offense. I mean, Tom Brady didn't have Benjamin Watson for a while, and I felt like he was still kind of a good playmaker, but I mean, he was getting old too, so he wasn't the best. And I couldn't tell if he missed Rob Gronkowski. In my opinion, Rob Gronkowski hasn't been the same in a while. But I mean, he also had AB. He had AB for a little bit. I mean, I don't think it was all Bill Belichick's fault. I think it was just a stinker year, and it was one of the worst 12-4 teams I've ever seen. Their team really stinked last year. I mean, they lost to the Dolphins at the end of the year. Well, I mean, it was Ryan Fitzmagic. He ended up having some magic at the end of the season, that's for sure. But man, you throw a pick six to Eric. What's his name? Derek Rowe. Eric Rowe. I think that's his name, Eric Rowe. He was a former Eagle. You throw a pick six to him. Come on, Brady. What are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, I knew he was gonna have a down year. He obviously did have a down year. I don't know. It's just they played the way I thought they were gonna play. I thought they were gonna fall apart halfway through the year. I had a weird gut feeling. I have weird gut feelings, and sometimes I'm really right, or I'm really wrong. Like when it comes to the Bills, them going 3-13. Obviously, that didn't happen. But yeah. So overall, they played the way I thought they were going to play. I was just wrong about a few games. So, yeah. this one's obviously a 0 because I got that one wrong. In second team, I had the Jets going 9-7. In reality, they ended up going 7-9. Thought they were going to be the second best team in the division, and I felt like they really could have been the second best team in the division. I mean, if Sam Darnold never ended up getting mono, they probably would have went 10-6 and tied with the Bills, or maybe they would have been able to beat the Bills at one point. You never know. But man, the Jets had. I thought they were gonna really come back. I feel like if he never caught mono, they would have never ended up going 7-9, maybe 9-7. But I mean they're building something. I like me personally. I like Adam Gase. I think Adam Gase. The New York Jets head coach. Me personally, I like him. I thought he was going to be able to beat the Patriots this time, like he did last year, like with the Dolphins. But I mean, he has a lot of good things in place. I like their wide receiver core. I like Jamison Crowder a lot. So I mean, I've always been a big fan of him ever since he was with Washington. I was kind of disappointed with their season. I felt like they could have made it. I thought they were like a playoff ready team, but obviously they're not. Their defense was kind of mediocre. Sometimes they were really good. Sometimes they were pretty bad. Man, if only Sam Darnold never caught mono. I mean, people are saying Sam Darnold is overrated, but he went 8-6 with his team, and I know he had that really bad game with the Patriots where he threw 3 interceptions and he said he was seeing ghosts and stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they're gonna have a comeback season next year. I mean, it's really possible. Me personally, I don't think Sam Darnold's overrated. He has a good arm. He's still going through he's still learning. I feel like he needs at least 2 more years to become. I don't want to say he's going to be an elite quarterback. At best, he's going to be like He's going to be like the Eli Manning / Alex Smith. He's like a combination of both of them. Sometimes he'd be really good. Sometimes he could be really bad. But he's going to bring his team to the playoffs. And me personally, I believe in Adam Gase. Believe what they're doing there. I was wrong about the prediction. I thought they were going to be the second best team in the division. They ended up being the third. But overall, they were kind of disappointing this year. But I feel Sam Darnold never called mono, we would be having a completely different conversation right now. Maybe I would be right. Maybe he would have won more games. So, yeah. Let's move on to the Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins were going to go 5-11, and yay, I was right about the Dolphins. I had them actually beating the Patriots. They were kind of worrying me, and they were kind of worrying me in the beginning of the season. I thought they were really going to go 0-16 at first, maybe even 1-15. But I mean, they didn't really help Josh Rosen at all. But I feel like they had things kicking into gear once Ryan Fitzpatrick started playing. I mean, I think he's still kind of a solid quarterback. I feel like next year they should start Ryan Fitzpatrick and let Tua sit back for a year and let him learn and adjust the system. Let him learn, and I mean, Josh Rosen is not going to be the future of their franchise. I didn't have a feeling he was going to be a great starter. Once I heard he was starting, I knew he was going to lose every game. I mean, no one's helping him at all, which is a shame. I feel like he would be a perfect quarterback for the Vikings once Kirk Cousins is done with that team. I mean, he's not getting any younger, but I mean, I feel like Josh Rosen would really do well with another team. Especially if it was like maybe even the Saints. You never know. But if the quarterback position hasn't evolved to the way it was, maybe Josh Rosen would be like a Hall of Fame type of talent. But unfortunately, the quarterback position is changing. We're getting to more mobile type of quarterbacks, and yeah. But I'm talking about something completely different right now. We're talking about the Miami Dolphins. They went 5-11 in real life, and I predicted them for going 5-11. So that's a point for me. And I mean, I felt like they did the way I knew they were going to be like extremely like wanting to win games. I knew they weren't going to be like dying to win a game, but I had a feeling that they were going to they were gonna like have that little bit of Fitz magic come at the end of the season, or maybe even it was either at the beginning of the season it was gonna happen, or at the end of the season when it was gonna happen. And I basically was right about that, and they ended up having a promising season. I really believe in their head coach. He has really interesting schemes. He destroyed my Eagles. Oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. But I mean, once again, my problem with the NFL is they don't use their backup players. I mean, there's like a lot of underrated players in free agency and backup players, but they just decide not to use them. The Dolphins actually used them, and they actually ended up being better than some of their starters. So I mean, yeah. So overall, 5-11, I was right. They had the season like I thought they were gonna have. Okay, and I also thought they were gonna be third best in their division, but they ended up being last in real life, so I was wrong about that. But I'm still considering that a point for me. Okay, moving on. I thought the Bills. Oh boy, this is embarrassing. This is an embarrassing. Why did I think they were gonna go this? All right. Oh, I thought the Bills. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I just thought they were gonna lose games. I thought the Buffalo Bills were gonna go 3-13. Boy, I was either really right about a lot of things, or I was really wrong. I was dead wrong about this. Oh, Josh Allen, I thought was gonna. I hated watching Josh Allen in the 2018 his rookie year. I thought he was gonna be. I don't know why, and it was his rookie season. It's gonna be absolutely horrible. Coming into this year, I thought he was gonna be horrible. I thought he was gonna throw a bunch of picks, but he actually was kind of impressive. His receiving core, I think it was his receiving core 2 seasons ago, but that's the last time I judge a quarterback on their rookie season. Maybe. I mean, usually I'm actually kind of right about when some quarterbacks have bad rookie seasons. Like, you can always tell if they have potential to be a future starting quarterback. But right now, Josh Allen's main concern is becoming like Cam Newton. Injury prone. By just laying a finger on him, he'll like turn into dust. Like, I feel like right now he needs to calm down on his running into stampedes and stuff. Or he can end up being like a Mitch Trubisky case and having a one-year special kind of okay season. Because he had an okay season. He didn't have an amazing season. But he's getting Stephon Diggs, so he should be better. But anyway, I thought they were going to be awful. I did not believe in their head coach ever since he benched Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman. I wasn't a fan of him ever since he did that. But in the 2017 season, when he did that, I've never been a fan since of his head coach, and he actually did pretty good. Josh Allen, their whole organization, they did okay. They made it to the playoffs. So their defense was really, really, really good. I mean, they did have their issues, but they had less issues than I thought they were going to have. The running game was actually pretty impressive. I did not see them trading away LaShawn McCoy like the way they did, but they did. I liked Frank Gore. I thought he was going to be re-signed with that team, but he wasn't. But he moved on to another AFC East team. So he was on the Dolphins, then he moved to the Bills, and now he moved to the Jets. And the only thing he needs to do now is move to the Patriots. But he's with the Jets now, Frank Gore. But when he was with the Bills last season, he was actually really impressive. And Devin Singletary, it's okay. He's okay. I think he's something completely new. He could be either really, really good or really meh. I mean, I couldn't really tell from his rookie season. It was just okay. It was really okay. But that's okay for a rookie running back. Sometimes when they don't have the best start, they end up exploding next year. So maybe he'll end up being a really, really great running back next year. I ended up doing really good, and I thought they were going to be absolute garbage because of Josh Allen. I thought Josh Allen was going to be like I thought he was going to be kind of like Jameis Winston. I thought he was going to throw a bunch of interceptions. And also another problem with Josh Allen, he doesn't know how to control his arm, but he actually had good control this season. He had really good control this season because his arm is crazy strong, but he has the problem that Donovan McNabb had. When Donovan McNabb was throwing the ball, he'd just like chug it into a tight space and didn't know how to control his arm. He threw it really strongly when he wasn't supposed to, and then he threw really light when he wasn't supposed to. That was Donovan McNabb's problem. But Josh Allen's problem ended up not being like that this season. I thought it was going to be like that, but it ended up not. Ended up having good control with his arm, and that was due to good coaching. And I guess I was wrong about the Bills head coach. I thought he was going to be pretty crappy this year. I thought he should have been fired ever since he benched Tyrod Taylor and drafted Josh Allen. But I guess he has a plan, and maybe I'm just wrong. Usually I'm right about these things, but hey, if he has a plan, he has a plan. But I just hope Josh Allen doesn't end up being like Cam Newton. So, overall, okay, let's just review one more time. AFC East, I thought Patriots could go 10-6, Jets 9-7, Dolphins 5-11, Bills 3-13. And but in real life, Patriots ended up going 12-4. The Bills ended up going 10-6. New York Jets ended up going 7-9, and then the Miami Dolphins ended up going 5-11. All right, moving on to the next division, we got the AFC North. Now, this one's gonna surprise some people. I had a gut feeling. Usually, these gut feelings are either really, really right or really, really, really wrong. Okay. My predictions, I thought the Ravens were going to go 12-4. I thought they were going to be the first of their division. And second up, I thought the Browns were going to be 9-7. Third, I thought the Steelers were going to be 8-8. Yay. And the Bengals were going to be 4-12. Okay, so real record, Ravens ended up going 14-2. Patriots ended up going 8-8. Browns 6-10, and Bengals 2-14. Okay, wow, that's actually the complete inverse of the Ravens. Wow. All right, so I'll start out with the Baltimore Ravens. Man, people told me I was crazy when I said the Ravens were going to be so good this year. I had a feeling, I believed in their defense. I felt like the Ravens were going to, Lamar Jackson was going to have a really, really good year this year, but I didn't think he was going to be MVP caliber. That was crazy. I still don't think he should have won MVP. I think he should have went to Russell Wilson. But hey, that's just my opinion, you know. But man, what an impressive year for the Ravens. In my opinion, they're my third least favorite team in the NFL for me. It goes Patriots, Cowboys, then Ravens. It's just my personal reasons. But yeah, I mean, Ravens were pretty impressive this year. Coaching, excellent on both offense and defense. And their defense was extremely underrated this year, and they're just going to get better. This year, the Ravens defense is going to be like the 49ers defense. That front four is hella scary. All right, hella scary. You better watch out for next year teams that are going up against the Ravens. But I didn't expect them to be using the running game like they did with Lamar Jackson. Like, obviously I knew they were going to run, but I didn't think they were going to just shove it down the team's throats. And that ended up kind of killing them in the playoffs a little bit. But I thought actually Lamar Jackson was going to be more of a better thrower than this NFL season. And I really believed in their defense. I believed in their coaching. And, yeah, so overall, they ended up going, I thought they were going to go 12-4. But they ended up being a lot of teams I didn't think they were going to end up beating. You know what I mean? So, yeah, overall, impressive season. I was wrong by just a couple of teams. I didn't think the Browns were going to beat them. That was weird when the Browns beat them that one game. But then they adjusted and ended up being great. Second team, oh boy. I didn't fall into the trap. I at least did not fall into the trap saying the Browns were going to be number one. They were going to go 16-0. Oh my gosh, the Browns were going to be amazing. I did not fall into that trap. I should have said 8-8. Me personally, I felt like the Browns were going to suck really bad, but I felt like if I had made that prediction, I feel like I would get a lot of heat for that. You know what I mean? So that's why I did a nice neutral prediction. That's why I did 9-7. I had the Browns going 9-7. Next time, my gut feeling says that they're going to suck. I'm going to say they suck. Well, I mean, usually I'm either really, like again, usually I'm either really right or I'm really wrong. But I really, really had a gut feeling that the Browns were going to really suck this year because they're the Browns. I didn't believe in their new head coach. I did not believe in Odell Beckham. I didn't believe – I hated that Kareem Hunt went to the Browns. I mean, I didn't expect them to be amazing because I didn't think Baker Mayfield was going to have that bad of a season, but they set themselves up for failure by having so much attention around them. They signed Kareem Hunt. They they had a lot of controversies this season. Baker Mayfield kept running his mouth when he should have. I mean, when you have just because you have a all-star team doesn't mean you're going to have an all-star season. This isn't Madden. Just because you got a bunch of 90 overalls doesn't mean you're not going to be able to execute that. Not unless you have the right coach and the right locker room. The locker room was a complete atrocious season. You got Myles Garrett hitting people in the head with the helmet. Man, that was absolutely disgusting. That I hated that moment. That sickened me. The whole game what the Browns did. The Browns season was a mess. And I blame 100% on Freddie Kitchens. His coaching, they should have never even hired him as their head coach. There was many better options. Freddie Kitchens, like, come on. Usually when a rookie head coach, he's not really that much. He hasn't been in the NFL that long. He doesn't have enough coaching cred. And he was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Like, come on. At least they have a good head coach now. But man, they really set themselves up for failure this season. They set themselves up with a really high standard, and they couldn't beat that standard. That's what usually ends up happening. Usually the good teams end up being the most underrated teams, and the really bad teams end up being the most hyped up teams. That's what happened with the Eagles. That's what happened with the Browns, and that's what happened with the Patriots. Actually, the Chiefs were kind of hyped up, but they weren't hyped up to the level that the Browns were. The Browns were expected to go 16-0, and I was like, "Come on, get the heck out of here!" The Browns really, they have so much growing up to do. But I gotta say, Nick Chubb, he was really impressive. That kid has he's gonna have a bright NFL future. That kid was the leader of that team, and yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe Baker Mayfield would stop running his mouth so much because that really cost him. Like, there were so many controversies this season with the Browns. Like, you had Baker Mayfield not shaking Richard Sherman's hand, but then ended up being fake. Then, like, the Browns are being talked about more about their things off the field than the things on the field. That was a big problem. Then you have Freddie Kitchens, your head coach, wearing a sign that calls he wore a sweatshirt where it said the Steelers started it. I'm like, your head coach can't be doing that. You guys are done. There's too much hype. I already knew that the season was going to be pretty crappy. It was just obvious. It was written all over the place. But I didn't want to say a crappy score because I knew that it was too controversial. So I stayed really neutral, 9-7, and they ended up bombing, and then they ended up going 6-10. Reasons why I thought they were going to go 9-7. I thought Baker Mayfield was going to have a good year, and their offensive line looked impressive, and I thought their defense was okay. But in reality, Baker Mayfield, man, he was in all those goddamn Hulu commercials. It pissed me off when he was in so many of those commercials. He did not deserve to be in so many of those commercials. He was like in 100 of them. It was crazy. It was crazy the amount of commercials he was in. It made me start to think like he didn't even practice for this season. That was Brown season was bad. It was just bad. But I didn't expect high things from the Browns or the Browns. I feel like next year they're gonna go another 8-8. But I think tomorrow or the next day or maybe even next week, I'm gonna have my new predictions for the new season. And the Browns overall crappy year. Too much drama for them to have a good season, and they ended up going 6-10. I thought they were gonna go 9-7. In reality, in my gut feeling, I actually thought they were gonna go 5-11. That was my original gut feeling, but they ended up going 6-10. So either way, I would have been wrong. Overall, Browns season was crappy. I thought they were gonna be second in their division, but they ended up being third in their division. All right, coming up. Next is the Steelers. I thought the Steelers were going to go 8-8. Now, I thought the Steelers played a lot better than I originally thought. I was right about the record. Being 8-8. I was right. I predicted 8-8. They ended up going 8-8. But man, their defense was I gotta say it was one of the best in the NFL, like top 5. And I could see why Mike Tomlin was gonna potentially win. Man, they ended up being a lot better than I originally thought. I do not believe Mason Rudolph costed their season. I feel like the interception ever since he had that concussion, like he really got hit hard, and now I feel like it's a shame because Mason Rudolph isn't gonna have the chance to be the future starting franchise quarterback for the Steelers. And in my opinion, I feel like he's a good candidate to take the place of Ben Roethlisberger. And Roethlisberger, I felt like he hasn't been good since 2015 season. Even before the injury, he wasn't that great. He's got more. His mentality is to throw it anywhere in the field and just hope that the receivers catch it. I mean, it just hasn't been great in a long time. He costs the season, like he costs the team every year, at least once a year. So don't say that because Ben Roethlisberger wasn't there, that's why they lost. If they really don't want to, I can understand why they don't want to go with Mason Rudolph after this year. I mean, I thought it was okay. His season was okay. He could get better. It was his first time starting. He has the potential to get better. He has a really good arm. Before he got hit really hard, like he got hit twice in the head or 3 times in the head. He got hit once with that concussion when 2 Ravens players, I believe, or it was 2 Browns players, they really hit him hard. Then he got hit again with Mason Rudolph, got hit with his helmet. And then he got injured near the end of the season. I think he injured his leg or something. And then he eventually got benched and got replaced with Devin Hodges. I mean, their season for offense was a mess. They didn't have a lot of their key players. They didn't have James Conner. They didn't have Juju. I was really impressed with Deontay Johnson and the rookie wide receiver that they have. He's a really, really good deep threat. They have good receiving core. Everyone needs to stay healthy. Everyone needs to do their part. Their offensive line was pretty solid, though. Oh, yeah, it was pretty solid. It wasn't the best, but it was pretty solid. So, all in all, they actually ended up doing really, really better. If they didn't have so many injuries, they might have even done even more. I mean, it's really impressive with the amount of injuries that they had, offense and defense, that they went 8-8. So, yeah, all in all, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive season. But I was right about the record score, and I thought they were going to be the 3rd best in their division, but they ended up being their 2nd best in their division. So, okay, next up, I don't think I really need to talk about this one. The Cincinnati Bengals ended up, I thought they were going to go 4-12. They ended up going 2-14. Either way, they're crap on top of crap on top of more crap. They're just the team management, coaching, awful. Everything awful. Quarterback, awful. Well, I don't think it was really his fault. There was a lot of injuries. Didn't have a great receiving core. John Ross is crap. Alden Tate was okay. Tyler Boyd, future of the franchise. AJ Green wasn't even there. Pretty much rounded up the whole season. Defense, crap. Just everything is crap. I don't believe in their head coach. I just feel so bad for Joe Burrow going to the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sorry, Bengals fans, but just management needs to change there for your playoffs. They don't want to make it to the Super Bowl. So get angry. You guys aren't angry enough about your team, so that's why they're okay with taking advantage of the fans. The Bengals take advantage of the fans. They're okay being crappy. All they care about is this. They care about the money. That's what they show. That's what they show. They show with the play. They show with the hiring of the coaches. I felt like there were so many better options than Zach Taylor, I believe his name is. They stuck with Marvin Lewis for so many years. It was incredibly stupid. Wasted Andy Dalton's career. Wasted Carson Palmer's career. I don't think Andy Dalton is as bad as people say he is. He just was with a crappy organization. AJ Green's talent has been wasted there time and time again. Just all in all, crap on top of more crap. Their season was crap. Thought they were going to go 4-12. I was being nice. They ended up going 2-12. Either way, it was crap. I thought they were going to be last in their division. They ended up being last in their division. So, to review, I thought they were going to be... Okay, so for the AFC North, I thought it was going to be Ravens 12-4, the Browns 9-7, third Steelers 8-8, and the Cincinnati Bengals coming in the last at 4-12. But in reality, it was Ravens being 14-2, Pittsburgh Steelers 8-8, third Cleveland Browns 6-10, and fourth Bengals 2-14. So I ended up being right about one of those teams. I ended up being right about the Steelers. Okay. Their team sucked really bad. Bengals just crap. All right. Moving on. I have the AFC South. Oh boy. This is an interesting case. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so coming in first. Okay, so I have the Colts going. Okay, first. Okay, my predictions are the Jaguars going 10-6, Colts going 10-6, Titans going 9-7, and the Texans going 8-8. And in reality, the Texans ended up going 10-6. Tennessee Titans ended up going 9-7. Third was Colts 7-9, and last was the Jacksonville Jaguars at 6-10. Oh my gosh, I have the exact opposite of my rankings. Man, all right. So let's first talk about the Jaguars, who I thought they were going to be number one, but ended up being dead last in their division this year. So, I had the Jaguars going 10-6. I thought their defense was going to be really good. I didn't think Jalen Ramsey was going to be traded away. That killed their defense. Their D-line wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. They had some injuries on defense. I believe Telvin Smith was injured, and then Nick Foles was injured, obviously. But I think his injury kind of helped the team. Well, no player should ever be injured, but I mean, like, Gardner Minshew coming in after Nick Foles got injured. Gardner Minshew fit their system a lot better than Nick Foles did. Nick Foles really did not fit their system, which is a shame. But just a lot of unexpected things, like Jalen Ramsey being traded. Just a lot of unfortunate things that happened with their team. Gardner Minshew, they ended up being really, really good. Maybe Nick Foles could have been better if he didn't get injured. I don't know. He had a really deep touchdown that ended up breaking his collarbone, which stinks. But I mean, their offensive line was complete and utter garbage. That's why Nick Foles isn't as mobile, and he doesn't want to keep getting hit all the time and break another collarbone. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All in all, 10-6. They ended up going 6-10 in reality. I feel like the Jalen Ramsey trade really killed their defense. So that was like a really big problem with their defense. But yeah. Okay. So coming in second, we got the Colts going 10-6. I thought they were going to be the second in their division, but in reality, they ended up being third in their division. They ended up going 7-9. Okay, I'm going to be brutally honest here. What really killed them was two major things. One, Adam Vinatieri. He cost them too many games. He really did. He missed two field goals. I think they could have won 9-7. He cost 2 games. And if Jacoby Brissett never got injured, they probably would have went 11-5. So if they fixed those two problems altogether, they could have won maybe even 13-3. Because Jacoby Brissett's injury really ended up messing it up. Brian Hoyer was bad. He made easy throws, and when he couldn't make the easy throws, he ended up throwing 3 picks and 1 touchdown. And then he ended up throwing 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. But those 3 touchdowns weren't impressive. He hasn't been impressive for a really long time. I don't know why he keeps on ending up on the NFL roster. Because when Brian Hoyer was starting, their team was awful. Their offensive line was really good, so there's no need for bad quarterback play. I understand why Jacoby Brissett got injured. I mean, why he ended up playing bad near the end of the season. Well, he didn't play bad. It was just mediocre. But he is the best backup in the NFL, unless Nick Foles ends up being a backup this year for the Bears. But if he doesn't end up being a backup this year, Jacoby Brissett is the best backup quarterback and possible. He could be possible NFL starter. Like seriously, he has all the tools. He has a good arm. Um, He has an okay receiving core. I think they need to kind of upgrade their receiving core. Um, but coming into this year, but Philip Rivers is not gonna do well with the Colts. It's just not. He's an interception machine, and but Jacoby Brissett, there's just a lot of problems this season, a lot of injuries this season. Jacoby Brissett getting injured, I feel like his injury messed him up for the rest of the season. So don't really say he's just not fit to be with the Colts. Injuries can mess up players. Look at Mason Rudolph. I felt like there was another quarterback that got injured and came back, wasn't that great. I can't really remember. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, he was good, but I mean, for a little bit, he wasn't like the same. You know what I mean? So any injury messes a player up for a little while, and I feel like next season Jacoby Brissett can come in and be really good. At least he's a what's it called? He's in the fill-in. He's like a quarterback that'll just fill in until the starter is ready to be, until they get their next quarterback. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Philip Rivers is the answer. They should have drafted the quarterback. Maybe they'll draft Trevor Lawrence next season. Who knows? But they really they were better off with Jacoby Brissett until they get a new starting quarterback for the future. Jacoby Brissett isn't going to win you a Super Bowl, but he's a good quarterback to be in place until they get their new starting quarterback. Philip Rivers isn't the answer in my opinion, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about why did the Colts go 7-9 instead of 10-6. Injuries messing up players, and Adam Vinatieri missing easy field goals that could have won them 2 games, at least 3 games. His missed field goals costed them way too many games. It cost them, I think, like 2 or 3 games. That boosts your record up to 9-7 or 10-6, like I said. And if Jacoby Brissett never ended up getting injured, that's like another 3 games right there. So they could have ended up going 13-3. They were really, really good, really, really talented. Fortunately, by the end of the season, they were filled with injuries, and that's a shame. All right. Okay, so the third next team, I had the Titans, the Tennessee Titans, going 9-7. In reality, they ended up going 9-7, and they ended up being second in their division. Titans were really impressive. They're gonna be a killer team next year. I feel like next year it's gonna be the Colts and Titans all the way. But we're talking about this year. They went 9-7. I did not believe in Marcus Mariota at all. I still don't. I don't know what people see in him. He has speed. Great. He's not Lamar Jackson speed. His arm strength is good, but it's accurate. He has too many issues. He's a great backup quarterback. That's why I thought the Tennessee Titans were going to end up being 9-7 this year. Because I thought the main reason was going to be because of their quarterback, Marcus Mariota, but he ended up not even starting this year. And it ended up being Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill really brought back their franchise. Derrick Henry was a beast. I mean, they had a lot of good things going for them. A.J. Brown, Corey, what's his name? I forget the other receiver's name. Adam Humphries was good. They had a good receiving core. Their tight end, Jonnu Smith, was a pretty good starting tight end. All in all, they ended up going 9-7. Their defense was really, really good. And they're going to be a star for next season. But I thought the main reason why they were going to go 9-7 was because of their quarterback, Marcus Mariota, but they ended up not even starting. And, they ended up being pretty bad in the beginning, but once they put Ryan Tannehill in, he fit their system, they ended up doing really, really good. Okay, so Titans going 9-7. Thought they were going to be third in their division, but they ended up being second and making the playoffs. Okay, coming up next, we have the Houston Texans. I thought they were going to go 8-8, but they ended up going 10-6. I mean, they didn't really change their team that much going into the next year, but Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins really destroyed the NFL. I mean, with their combination. The Texans have one of the best receiving cores in the NFL, or did. They had DeAndre Hopkins, then they had Will Fuller, and then they had Kenny Stills, all really, really great wide receivers. That their offense would mainly, usually it's their defense that really like brings in, really makes the Texans good. but it was more than just their defense this year. It was their offense. Their offense was really impressive. I liked everything that they were doing on offense. Deshaun Watson was impressive. Everything was just, it was just really impressive. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Houston Texans ended up going 10-6. I thought they were going to go 8-8. But, next season they're going to go 8-8. I mean, they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Big mistake. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think Bill O'Brien's a great general manager. And he's running his team into the ground a little bit. But he's a good head coach. But, Anyway, so I had just to review, I had the Jaguars going 10-6, Colts going 10-6, Titans going 9-7, Texans going 8-8. But in reality, the complete opposite happened. The Texans went 10-6. The Titans ended up going 9-7, Colts 7-9, Jaguars 6-10. All right, so moving on. Okay, so coming up next is the AFC West. Okay, so I thought coming into the AFC West, I thought the Chiefs were going to be number one, and I thought the Chiefs were going to go 13. They were going to go 13-3, number one, and I thought it was going to be the Chargers at 10-6, third, Broncos 9-7, and dead last would be the Raiders at 4-12. Okay, so thought that. And then in reality, they ended up going. All right, so the Chiefs ended up going 12-4. Denver Broncos coming in second at 7-9. Oakland Raiders 7-9, and dead last was the Los Angeles Chargers at 5-11. Damn, that's tough. Ugh, they did horrible AFC West. I thought Patrick Mahomes was a stud and ended up doing really good. They didn't have Tyreek Hill in the beginning, so there was a downside there. Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes is the best wide receiver quarterback combination in the NFL. He didn't have him in the beginning. Their defense wasn't that great during the regular season, but they ended up doing pretty good in playoffs. And Patrick Mahomes did have a down year due to him dislocating his knee. If he ended up never dislocating his knee, probably would have been an MVP again. You know what I mean? But so all in all, they ended up I thought they were going to go 13-3. They ended up going 12-4. That one game that they lost, I don't know exactly, but what was that one game that they lost? It was somewhere in the beginning of the season, but yeah. So they ended up having being a little bit one game lower. They ended up being 12-4. Thought they were going to be 13-3, but all in all, they had the year like I thought they did, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl like I thought they were going to do. Spoiler alert. I had the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl in this prediction video. So, all right, moving on. We got the Chargers. I had the Chargers going 10-6, and instead they ended up being dead last at 5-11 in their division. Boy, they had too many issues. First off, Philip Rivers stank. Their offensive line stank. The receiving core was actually pretty good. Running back stank. Austin Eckler is okay, pretty good. He's a really good catch. Running back, he's really good. He's a really good receiving back. Melvin Gordon wasn't even on the field for majority of the season. He did a contract holdout, and look where that got him. Ended up making his career worse. Running backs aren't really viewed that highly as they used to. It's the evolution of the NFL. They're being viewed lower. They're not as valuable as a position as the quarterback. So, yeah. Overall, they just stank. They had some close games though. They had some really, really close games. So, if they were like this close to like 50% of their games that they lost, So maybe if they just had that little oomph, because it was this close to a lot of the games. It was really tight games. They had really, really, really tight games. So, and Philip Rivers threw way, way too many interceptions Philip Rivers is a shell of his former self. It's time for him to retire. I don't know what he thinks he's gonna do with the Colts. Throw even more interceptions and cost his team even more. He's gonna get benched. Tyrod Taylor is a perfect option for the Chargers, and Justin Herbert needs to sit out a year. Let Tyrod Taylor do his thing for a few years. And yeah, it'll be great. Chargers, I believe in their head coach, and I feel like they're on the right track. So yeah, I mean, right now they're on the right track. Unfortunately, they had a down year due to their quarterback and quite a few injuries. So yeah, so that's why they ended up going 5-11. The reason why I thought they were going to go 10-6 is because I thought Philip Rivers was going to be a better quarterback than he ended up being. But instead, he ended up being garbage and not clutch at all. His arm was weak. It was weaker than Drew Brees, and his arm is pretty weak as well. So, and he really forced the ball into a lot of situations. He forced it into triple coverage during the Raiders game. Like, come on, what are you doing? Man? He has really poor decision making. Overall, stinks. And third, I thought the Broncos were going to be 9-7, but in reality, they ended up being 7-9. Wow, Joe Flacco sucked. I mean, he really sucked a lot. He was really bad. He had wide open players. It looked like he didn't care for half of the season. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just what I saw. Maybe people saw something different. I saw a player that didn't care to be on the field. Drew Lock, when he was on the field, it was really impressive. I feel like they had a little bit of emergence once Drew Lock came in. Drew Lock is going to be the future of that franchise. I believe in him so much that I think he's going to win MVP. Maybe either him or Patrick Mahomes. I'm still going to decide, but next week or a week after that, I'm going to be doing my my predictions for the awards, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Joe Flacco really sucked. And then the next guy, Brandon Allen, he was okay. He was the type of quarterback that threw to his first read. His film was impressive. The reason why he won, they didn't win, but the reason why he was pretty good is because not many defenses knew how to stop him. He's just a really mediocre quarterback. I forget if they had another quarterback in, but Joe Flacco really sucked, and then the quarterback after that sucked, and Drew Lock ended up being really, really good. So, I mean, he had two bad apples to get to the good ones. So, yeah, overall, their season could have been better if they had a better quarterback, but they're ready. They're ready to go to the playoffs. I might say maybe this is really, really, really early prediction, but maybe they'll win the Super Bowl in like a few years. They're a Super Bowl contending team for the next couple of years to come. But I thought they were gonna go 9-7. I thought Joe Flacco was gonna be a lot better quarterback, but he ended up being really, really sucky. So that's why they ended up going 9-7. That's why they ended up going 7-9 instead of 9-7. All right, and then lastly, I had the Raiders going 4-12, but in reality, they ended up going 7-9. Reason why I thought they were going to go 4-12, I actually when I was looking at the schedule for this team, I was looking at it, and I had a lot of close games in there. And that's how I came up with the prediction, because I really felt like their defense is really, really bad. Their offensive line is good. Their offense is pretty solid. They need a number one receiver, but they got that with Henry Ruggs. Offense is pretty solid. Their defense needs a major overhaul. I don't know what you have to do. Maybe like trade some players on offense. I don't know what you're gonna have to do to save the Raiders defense. The Raiders defense is awful. It really is. It wasn't. That's what I thought. Even in this season, the offense was pretty bad. They had some really good moments. I thought this season they were gonna be absolute atrocious, but they actually ended up being okay. They didn't end up being as bad as I thought, but they need a serious overhaul with that defense to make it to the playoffs next year. I didn't blame Derek Carr at all. Derek Carr had a good season. I don't know what everyone was talking about. It was this defense that needed to put in the work. It could have been better, but I guess they weren't great. I don't know what Raiders fans are crying about. I'm not just talking about. I'm not just looking at the stats here. I'm just looking at his overall performance. I saw quite a few games where he played pretty good, and I saw quite a few games where he played awful. But I don't feel like they were the games that I don't think blame should be put on him where blame does blame. There's been a lot of blame on Derek Carr for certain games that they Raiders lost, but I don't think that blame is deserved. If that's what I'm trying to say. If you get what I'm saying. I don't think he deserved a lot of hate for a lot of the games that they lost. I feel like it was mainly their defense fault. Any game that they lost, it was mainly their defense fault. And, some offense fault too, but yeah. So overall, I thought they were going to go 4-12, but they actually ended up going 7-9, and the Raiders have a really bright future ahead of them going to Las Vegas. So maybe a fresh start going to Vegas, and I really believe in John Gruden. So yeah. All right, we're moving on to the NFC conference. The NFC East. We got my boy the Eagles on there. We got my boys working hard there. Yeah. So, we had the NFC East, more like the NFC least. I mean, I love the Eagles and all, but they sucked this season. Man, what a big disappointment this division was for the NFC East. That was most disappointing division. I think they had like 2 Super Bowl contender teams on there, and neither one of them ended up making it to the Super Bowl. So, all right, let's get started. So, I had the Eagles coming in at first at 12-4. Then I had the Cowboys coming in second at 9-7. Third, Redskins at 6-10. And fourth, I had the Giants coming in at 5-11. And what they ended up doing was they ended up going, all right, Eagles 9-7, Cowboys 8-8, New York Giants 4-12. Wow, Washington Redskins 3-13. Ugh, I can see why people call them the NFC least. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Let's talk about the Eagles first. I thought they were going to go 12-4. Main issue, injuries. Plain and simple, injuries and Nelson Agholor. Big issues with the team. That and Ronald Darby, cornerback. Eagles fans, if you know what I'm talking about, the whole NFL season is that whole not the whole NFL. That whole Eagles season was extremely disappointing. Injuries, Ronald Darby and Nelson Agholor, main issue. I'm just glad they made it to the playoffs. I didn't think they were going to make it to the playoffs, But luckily the Cowboys were worse. But man, the Eagles season. If they stayed healthy, they probably would have made it 12-4. I mean, the Eagles lost to the Dolphins. They had a big blowout with the Vikings. Then they had a big blowout with the Cowboys. They had too many blowout games. They either beat really good teams, like they beat the Packers, they beat the Bills, or they got blew out by pretty bad teams or mediocre teams and stuff, like the Vikings, Cowboys, and Dolphins. Just talking about this season makes me angry and enraged, and I don't want to be that way. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna move on. The Eagles ended up going 12 and they end up being number 1 in their division. Great, crappy 9-7. Okay, so I thought they were going to go 12-4, and the main issue was injuries, Nelson Agholor and Ronald Darby, and that's why they ended up going 9-7. All right, moving on, the Cowboys. I thought they were going to go 9-7. They ended up going 8-8. Okay, I thought their defense was going to be a lot better. And yeah, their defense was pretty disappointing. Their D-line was bad. I mean, their D-line was bad. Leighton, I forget the linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch, I think. He was pretty mediocre. The whole defense, they looked like they weren't trying. They thought, we're gonna make it without even trying, and they ended up going 8-8. And I expected this. Dak Prescott was not impressive. He wasn't clutch at all. Like any critical moment, he just wasn't there. Don't blame it on anyone but him. Uh, Ezekiel Elliott it wasn't bad. He just wasn't as great as he usually is, but he was still pretty damn good. I mean, he ran for 1,000 yards in one season. Like, when was the last time an Eagles running back did that? Uh, 2015 with no 2014 with LaShawn McCoy. So that was the last time a running back ran for 1,000 yards in our in one season for the Eagles. But I mean, Dak Prescott was was a big problem for the Cowboys. Wasn't clutch. And the only person was to blame was Dak Prescott for that part. But his defense should have been better in a lot of situations. Their defense was pretty crappy. They didn't look like they were trying. They looked like they weren't trying. I don't know if it was Jason Garrett's fault. Well, that's what they were saying. I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to be any better. Maybe he will be. I mean, the reason why Aaron Rodgers doesn't have more Super Bowls is because of Mike McCarthy. So I don't know why him being the new head coach is gonna make a difference. Jason Garrett, not as a person, but I mean, just because he's a Cowboys head coach, I mean, I'm just not a fan of him. I can't be a fan of a Cowboys head coach. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's the way it goes in the Eagles fandom. But Jason Garrett, it wasn't all of his fault. I mean, maybe he should have been more motivational. Who really knows? I blame Jerry Jones more than I would blame Jason Garrett. I feel like he didn't call the right plays at certain points. But I don't think he's a bad head coach. I mean, he should have won a Super Bowl by now. I mean, he had Tony Romo. In my opinion, I feel like he wasted the talent of Tony Romo because almost every Tony Romo team, the defense was pretty meh, So he wasted Tony Romo's career, and overall, the reason why the Cowboys ended up going 8-8, I thought they were going to go 9-7. They ended up being second in their division, but a really crappy 8-8. Missed the playoffs. So they ended up being pretty bad, pretty disappointing, and they ended up going 8-8, and I thought they were going to be 9-7. Okay, moving on. Redskins, I thought they were going to be 6-10. I thought Case Keenum was going to be a lot better, but then I ended up putting the crappy Dwayne Haskins, and Dwayne Haskins is not an NFL starter. I knew coming out of the draft he wasn't going to be great. He wasn't NFL ready. I don't know why they kept putting him into games. I don't think he's a great starting quarterback, and he's not going to be a great starting quarterback for the future. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's another Josh Allen situation where I'm just wrong, but I usually have those gut feelings, and they're either really, really right or really, really wrong, and I have a more gut feeling that Dwayne Haskins is going to be bad more than I did with Josh Allen. So, yeah, they ended up going 3-13. They ended up being last in their division. They ended up going 3-13. They paid the price. Hopefully, Dwayne Haskins doesn't start next year, and it's Kyle Allen over Dwayne Haskins. Okay. And then I thought the Giants were going to be dead last in the division. They ended up being third. I thought they were going to be 5-11, but instead they ended up being 4-12, and somehow they ended up third. I thought they were going to be last. I thought, I don't know. They just ended up being disappointing overall. I thought they were going to at least win more games than they did last season. I mean, for crying out loud, they had Daniel Jones, who was pretty impressive in my opinion. Saquon Barkley wasn't that impressive this year. I think that really killed their team. Usually when, I don't know what happened to Saquon. I think he got an ankle injury this season, and that's why he wasn't as impressive as he usually was, like in this rookie year. But he's going to have a bounce-back season. I think Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the NFL. Right? Yeah. I would say Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the NFL. Number one. The Giants season overall was disappointing. Yeah. And Eli Manning had a good send-off. It was Eli Manning's last season. I think he only played in like 4 games. He was pretty impressive in all of the games he played in. I feel like Daniel Jones was a good quarterback for them to draft. They basically draft a Eli Manning clone. So, yeah. All in all, let's just review one last time. Eagles number 1, 12-4. I thought they were gonna go 12-4. Cowboys 9-7. Redskins 6-10, coming in third, and last it was gonna be Giants at 5-11. But instead, what ended up happening was Eagles 9-7, Cowboys 8-8, coming in second. Third, Giants 4-12, and Redskins 3-13, coming in at dead last. All right, and okay, we're almost done. So we're gonna be moving on to the NFC North. NFC North. Okay, this was pretty interesting. So my predictions were, I thought I had the Vikings going 12-4, coming at second. I had the Packers going 9-7, Lions 4-12, and Bears coming at last at 4-12. Let's first start off. Oh wait, no. Now I gotta say that. Okay. Now, and what ended up happening was Packers coming in at 13-3, Vikings coming in at 10-6, Bears 8-8, Lions 3-12-1. Okay, we'll start out with the Vikings. I thought they were gonna go 12-4. They ended up going 10-6. I thought it was gonna be dead wrong at first because Kirk Cousins ended up starting out the season pretty bad, but he ended up making up in the end, or I should say, like near the end of the season. Kirk Cousins ended up looking like an MVP caliber quarterback. He was pretty impressive. Their defense was okay. The cornerback. They had one quarterback who's usually really, really good. Xavier Rhodes. That he was the cornerback for the Vikings. I think he really wasn't that great of cornerback for their team this year. I don't know what ended up happening to him this year. He just had a really down year. I was one of the reasons why they didn't do as good as I thought they were going to do. And they lost some pretty easy games in the beginning of the season. Kirk Cousins didn't end up playing as good as he should have. And, but he ended up playing really, really good at the end. And they ended up making it to the playoffs at 10-6. So, congrats to the Vikings. And I bet you guys are going to have a great year next year, too. You guys drafted a good wide receiver to replace Stephon Diggs with, Jeffrey, with your new wide receiver they drafted, so Justin Jefferson. So congrats to the Vikings on that, and you guys ended up going 10-6. I thought you guys were going to do 12-4, but you ended up being second in the division. I thought you guys were going to be number 1, but the Packers ended up being pretty good this season. So the Packers, I thought you guys were going to go 9-7. They ended up going 13-3 and being second. Ended up taking a second seed, actually, and ended up having, at the end, 13-3. Now, Packers had a really, really easy schedule. But here's the thing, that the Packers had the same issues as the Patriots did. Not a great offensive line like there usually is. Really crappy. Well, not crappy receivers. Devontae Adams was great, but that's all you had. Jimmy Graham was you could tell Aaron Rodgers didn't really trust his receivers besides Devontae Adams, and Devontae Adams got injured quite a few times. Didn't even start a lot of the games last year. I mean, he did, but you know what I mean. So, but they ended up doing pretty good. They ended up going 13-3. I thought they were going to go 9-7, but they had a pretty easy schedule. They really did. So, overall, all in all, they had an easy schedule. They probably would have won 9-7 with a more difficult schedule. And they didn't fix any of the problems like their wide receiver. Their wide receivers, they needed to draft one. They didn't draft one. They didn't help Aaron Rodgers out, and they probably might actually go 9-7 this season due to your crappy draft class that you guys drafted. So, Packers 9-7. I thought you guys were going to be second. You guys ended up being first in the division. Coming up next, I had the Lions being third at 4-12, and what ended up happening, The real record was 3-12-1. Yeah, so I mean, I thought the Lions were gonna win that first week 1 game. What ended up happening was Matthew Stafford. Plain and simple, Matthew Stafford getting injured ruined the rest of the season. They won a single game. They looked really impressive with Matthew Stafford starting. Their defense was solid, offense was solid, everything was all in all really, really good. If only he didn't get injured, I feel like they probably would have went 8-8, 9-7. I don't know. They're building something. I know they don't have Darius Slay anymore, but he went to my Eagles. Yay! So, yeah. So, all in all, Matthew Stafford basically killed the whole season. But I thought originally Matthew Stafford was gonna kill the season. Originally, like that's why I thought they were gonna originally go 4-12. But no, I was wrong. But yeah, the main reason why they weren't good was because of Matthew Stafford. They probably would have won more games if Matthew Stafford never got injured, but he did, unfortunately. And yeah, so who knows what's gonna happen next year? They're definitely not a bad team. So yep, and they ended up being last. I thought they were gonna be third. And coming in last place in my predictions was the Bears. I thought they were going to go 4-12. They ended up going 8-8. Still pretty bad for a really, really good defense. Top 5 defenses in the NFL. Mitchell Trubisky. It's just not good enough. If they only had a good quarterback. I mean, like for crying out loud, he missed the easiest reads. I mean, Matt Nagy couldn't make it any simpler. I mean, there were a lot of. I feel like he gave up, Matt Nagy. I think he's just tired of Mitchell Trubisky. It's his way of protesting. The running back, they were okay. Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery, they were okay this season. I feel like the whole team was with Mitchell Trubisky as your quarterback, any team wouldn't want to try as hard as they should, you know. I mean, their defense is really good, you know. You know what I mean? So, yeah, all in all, I think Bears fans can agree Mitchell Trubisky was the problem of last season, and a little bit of the head coach and a little bit of the running back. So it was a little bit of a mix of that. I thought Mitchell Trubisky was going to be worse than he actually ended up being. So, I mean, I thought he was just going to throw a ton of picks, but he actually didn't. And he really did. So give him credit to that. They just need a good quarterback. That's all they need, and they'll be solid. They'll be great. All right. Moving on to the NFC South. All right. Okay, so in the NFC South, I had the Saints going 10-6, then the Falcons going 9-7, Panthers 4-12 coming in at third, and last was going to be the Buccaneers at 4-12. Ooh, okay. I was wrong about all these guys. Oh wait, and then in reality, what ended up actually happening was. The Saints went 13-3, Falcons 7-9 coming in second, third 7-9 Buccaneers, and fourth was Panthers going 5-11. Okay, we'll start off with the Saints. I thought Drew Brees. I feel like if Drew Brees never got injured, they would have ended up going 10-6. Teddy Bridgewater played outstanding. They played better with him. Just look at the film. It looked like the receivers were trying more. The team was trying more, and maybe it's because they felt like they needed to try more because it was the backup quarterback. But I don't know. Just the team, they clicked more when Teddy Bridgewater was starting. I feel like if Drew Brees started the whole season, they would have won 10-6. Drew Brees is getting older. His arm is declining halfway through the season. Once it's like halfway through the season, he starts hesitating, starts not being as smart with the football as he usually is. But what ended up happening was he got injured for like I think 5 weeks, and when he came back, he was stronger than ever, and it was like at the end of the season, yeah. So I think they would have won more games if Teddy Bridgewater stayed as the quarterback. Yeah, so all in all, they ended up doing pretty good. I feel like they would have done worse if Drew Brees started the whole entire season instead of having Teddy Bridgewater come in around week 3, and he won 5 in a row. So yeah, Saints had a pretty good season. They ended up having gone 13-3, made the playoffs. They lost the playoffs because of Drew Brees, and yeah. Okay, I had second. I had the Falcons going. I predicted they were going to go 9-7, but instead they went 7-9. All right, so the Falcons are weird. This was a weird team to talk about because they ended up starting really bad and then they ended up being really good. I think they won like the last 7 of their games, or no, they won the last 6 games at the end of the season. I don't know what kicked into gear, but they looked elite. Their team looked elite at the end of the NFL season. They beat the 49ers. They beat a bunch of really, really, really good teams. They were really impressive, the Falcons. They have a bright future next season. They have a really bright future coming their way. I don't know. I just don't know what kicked into gear at the end of the season. It was crazy. It was kind of like the Eagles, but they weren't going to make it to the playoffs. But they were really, really impressive, though. They beat the 49ers. I remember that. I forget. They beat a couple other really, really good teams, too. I don't remember at the moment. Yeah, so they were pretty impressive. I thought they were going to be better this year. I thought they were going to be 9-7. I didn't think Matt Ryan was going to be that much. I didn't think he was going to decline that much. Like, compared to last season and then the season he just had, like from the 2018 NFL season to 2019 NFL season, it's like a big, big drop in quality. I mean, in 2018, he had like an MVP caliber season, and then in 2019, he had like an okay Philip Rivers season. You know what I mean? I don't know. It wasn't clutch in the beginning of the season, but he kicked into gear at the end. I think those are just all signs of a declining quarterback, and maybe he'll do really good next year. I don't know. The defense looked really good at the end of the year last year. Everything looked really, really good at the end of the year last year. So Julio Jones kicked into gear. Maybe I think it was ever since the Mohamed Sanu trade. Maybe that's what kicked into gear. You know what I mean? So they got a bright future. I mean, next season they got to go 9-7 at least. Yeah. So they had a interesting season. They started out really awful, and then they ended up being really great at the end. So yeah, I thought they were going to be second in their division. They ended up being second in their division, but they had 7-9. I thought 9-7. Okay, coming at third, I have the Panthers at 4-12, and what they ended up, their real record ended up being 5-11. So it was one off. They would have. I don't know. I don't know how to put this. If Cam Newton didn't play at all, they would have won more games. Cam Newton, people are saying Kyle Allen costed them this season. He really didn't. I think it costed them one season. One game. It costed them one game, which was the 49ers game. Yeah, a really impressive season, in my opinion. He made a lot of mistakes, but they were like first-year mistakes. I think his defense could have been better. I feel like this season coming up, though, they're going to have an impressive season with Teddy Bridgewater and stuff. But the reason why I thought they were going to go 4-12 originally is because I thought Cam Newton was going to start the whole NFL season, and Cam Newton is bad. He's not a good starting quarterback anymore. I had a feeling he was going to be injured, but I know Kyle Allen was going to be that good, you know? So yeah, they went 5-11. I thought they were gonna go 4-12, so I was wrong about that. And yeah, it was kind of an impressive season. They had some mistakes, but they're gonna learn from them. So yeah, 4-12. I thought they ended up going 5-11 and being last in their division. I thought they were gonna be third in their division. All right. Coming up next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got the Buccaneers going 4-12. And then instead they came in, and I had them coming in last place, but instead they came in third, and they ended up being 7-9. Wow, their team was interesting to say the least. Um, I knew the main factor of them being crappy was going to be Jameis Winston. But I didn't think their defense was going to be that good. I thought their defense was going to be pretty bad to either really mediocre. But I knew Jameis Winston was going to cost his team because his attitude and his play, and he's just a weird person. I mean, it's just a weird person to have in your locker room and a weird person to have as your leader. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been a Jameis Winston fan since his rookie NFL season. I mean, he had off the field issues and a bunch of other problems. I thought it was going to come into play again this season, but no, the main problem was him throwing 30 interceptions, which is awful. No NFL quarterback. You don't want an NFL quarterback throwing 30 interceptions. That's just insane. He either played like really elite, or he would either play like Nathan Peterman. You didn't know which quarterback you were gonna get. You know what I mean? It was awful. I mean, at least their defense had some promise. I mean, they had Shaquille Griffin, I think his name, Shaquille Barrett. That's what it was. Shaquille Barrett, who had 19 sacks. That's impressive. I was really impressed with his season. I don't know if it's a fluke season, if it's like a 1 year special season. If you know what I mean, like, yeah, like if it was just a fluke, or if he's gonna have an impressive season like he had this year. I don't know. Who really knows if the defense is gonna be as good? But they got Tom Brady now, and if they don't adjust their system to Tom Brady, like their system right now doesn't fit Tom Brady. I don't think it even fit Jameis Winston. Like their system is so interception heavy if you don't know how to use Bruce Arians' system. So that's why there was a lot of interceptions. But it brought the best in the receivers, though. They had a really, really good receiving core last year. Unfortunately, didn't bring the best in the quarterback. So, yeah. I didn't know the defense was going to be that good, so that's why. And I also had a feeling that Jameis Winston was going to be trash, so that's why I said 4-12. But their defense actually ended up being pretty decent, and they ended up going 7-9 and being third in their division. So, yeah, I don't know. Pretty impressive. Okay, so just to review, I have the Saints 10. I thought that the Saints were gonna go 10-6, Falcons 9-7, Panthers 4-12, and Buccaneers 4-12 coming in last. Okay. Moving on to the NFC West. I think this is the last one until we get to the playoffs. Okay, coming at the NFC West, I thought the 49ers were going to be first. They're going to be 11-5. Coming in at second, Seahawks 9-7. Third, Rams at 9-7. And Cardinals coming in last at 6-10. In reality, they in the NFC West, 49ers ended up going 13-3, Seahawks 11-5, Rams 9-7, and Cardinals 5-10, 5-10-1. Okay, we'll start out with the 49ers. I had a feeling that the 49ers were going to do well. They always do well with Jimmy Garoppolo plays. Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, I'm going to get the record straight. Jimmy Garoppolo is an elite. I repeat, he's an elite quarterback. An elite quarterback has your team win games. Every game without Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers, they lost. They won games with him. Obviously, there's a reason. People were like saying, "Oh, he's not good. Get Tom Brady." Dude, they went 13-3. Sorry about that. They ended up going 13-3. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be even better, and I was impressed with the defense. No one believed me. I called it out. I was really impressed with the defense. That's why I thought they were going to go 11-5. But I did think Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be like Patrick Mahomes next season, I thought he was going to throw like 40 touchdowns or something. I thought it was going to be insane. But he ended up still having a good season. Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is an elite quarterback. He's really clutch, which is a problem that Dak Prescott has. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's clutch. He's a good leader, and anytime he doesn't play, his team sucks. His team ends up having a losing record. He has a winning record for a reason. All right. And he ended up having the season, started out with the season with not great receiving core, but Emmanuel Sanders really helped out the receiving core. It opened other spots up on the field. And then eventually Deebo Samuel ended up being pretty good. And then Kendrick Bourne ended up having a pretty good season. So, yeah. All in all, their defense ended up being really, really killer. More killer than I thought. And more killer than I originally thought they were going to be. They ended up being pretty good. More impressive. And, it was great. And Jimmy Garoppolo I don't want to say he disappointed me. I thought he was going to be even better than he ended up being, but he ended up still being pretty good, and he is an elite. He is an elite quarterback. He's top 5. Right? Maybe even, top 5. He's definitely a top 5 quarterback. All right. Okay, so that was the 49ers. And then second, I have the Seahawks going 9-7, and in reality, they ended up going 11-5. The Seahawks were pretty interesting. They had a ton of injuries near the end of the season, which really killed their team, which was the main reason why they ended up doing good as they could have done. Running back Chris Carson got injured, then Rashad Penny got injured, and they ended up having to bring in retired players, Marshawn Lynch, and then they ended up bringing someone else that used to be on the former team. I can't remember right now. I'm blanking at this point, but you know what I mean. They were really, really injured all over the place on offense and defense everywhere. Russell Wilson was the only one that was amazing. I think he should have won MVP. But hey, whatever. You know what I mean. So, all right. Seahawks. The reason why I thought they were going to go 9-7, I didn't think their defense was going to be as great as they ended up being. The receiving core ended up being pretty good. I thought it was going to be pretty crappy. I didn't believe in DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf ended up being pretty good. And then they eventually brought in Josh Gordon. So, even though he was there for a little bit, he was still pretty good while he was there. They did pretty good. And I know I was wrong. Okay. I was wrong. But they ended up exceeding my expectations. Coming in at third, I had the Rams. And they actually I had the Rams going 9-7, and they actually ended up coming at third at 9-7. Ugh, I hate that crappy new logo that they have. Ugh, why did they have to change it? It looks like a 4-year-old with crappy animations made that logo. I don't mean to insult the people that made that logo. I just don't like it. It doesn't fit well with me. Okay, the Rams ended up going 9-7. I thought they were going to go 9-7. I had a feeling Todd Gurley wasn't going to be as good as he originally was. Their defense ended up not being that great. Well, they ended up being pretty good, but it wasn't as good as it was. Jared Goff ended up having a down year. I thought he was going to have even a better year than he did last year. I believe in Jared Goff. He fits their system perfectly. That's why they gave him the contract extension, like the head coach. The offensive line wasn't good. It should have been better. It was one of the worst offensive lines in the whole NFL season. Todd Gurley, I don't believe he recovered from his injury 100%. It was he had definitely a down year. I don't know if his reign as a number 1 starting running back is over. Maybe it was just because of the offensive line, or maybe he just needed a year to completely recover from his injury. Who really knows? But the Rams ended up going 9-7. I thought they were going to go 9-7 due to the Todd Gurley not being as good as he usually is. And I was right. But, I didn't think their defense was going to be that disappointing. Their defense was pretty disappointing. And I don't think Jared Goff deserves most of the hate that he does for this season. I'm not a humongous Jared Goff fan. I think he's good. I thought he wasn't even going to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't want to say I thought he was a bad quarterback. I just thought he was just always mediocre, but he got his team to the Super Bowl. He didn't cost his team at all. Maybe he did a little bit in the Super Bowl, but he made it to the Super Bowl. Any quarterback not any quarterback, but the way he was playing, he looked like an elite quarterback in the playoffs. He has talent. He has a good arm. You could say it's because of the receiving core, but I mean the receiving core this year had a lot of He had a lot of drops, his wide receivers, and even during his playoff games. So, yeah, all in all, the Rams need to fix their offensive line and need to fix their defense and get a better running back. But that's why I believe they went 9-7, and I was correct. So, all right, and last but not least, we had the Cardinals. I thought they were going to go 6-10. They ended up going 5-10-1. They had a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. Their team is so young, but it has the potential to be so elite, so strong, real quickly. I mean, like, big time. They're a young, upcoming team. They're going to make rookie mistakes. Every single person in the Cardinals organization made a rookie mistake. But those rookie mistakes improved later on in the season. Coming from the quarterback, coming from the head coach, going to the receivers. They were all made rookie mistakes. Their defense was okay, but I like what they're implementing in the Cardinals. That's why I had them going 6-10. I thought they were going to be a little bit better than they ended up being. I thought I didn't think there were going to be that many rookie mistakes. There were a lot of them, but all of them are going to be improved. They're a scary team, and they're going to rain hell on the NFL in the next upcoming years. So, yeah, Cardinals 6-10. They end up going 5-10. They end up going 5-10-1, and they still had a really good season for a brand new head coach and brand new quarterback and receivers. All right, that's so to review them all, I had the 49ers going 11-5, Seahawks 9-7, Rams 9-7, and Cardinals 6-10. And in reality, what ended up actually happening was 49ers 13-3, Seattle Seahawks 11-5, third Rams 9-7, and last I had the Cardinals going. And I didn't have it, but the Cardinals ended up going 5-10-1. Oh man, wow, that was a lot to get through. Okay, we're gonna have to move on to the playoffs. Oh boy, this one's gonna take a little while, and then we're done. But this has been fun. I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's my first time doing these predictions, and yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna review. I'm just gonna say off all my playoff predictions first. So I'm gonna say what the playoffs predictions were first, and then I'm gonna say what the actual who made it to the playoffs and who made it to the Super Bowl and such. Okay, so based off of my records and each team going to the playoffs, I had the wild card round for the NFC. First, it was going to be the 49ers versus the Saints, wild card for the NFC. And then I would have had the 49ers beating the Saints. And then the other game for the NFC would be the Cowboys versus the Packers. And I would have had the Cowboys beating out the Packers in the wild card round. And then the next is the AFC wild card game. And I would have had the first game would have been the Patriots versus the Colts. Then I have the Patriots beating out the Colts. And then the next game in the AFC wildcard round, I would have had the Jaguars versus the Chargers. And I would have had the Jaguars beating out the Chargers. And the NFC divisional round. And then I would have had the Eagles versus the 49ers. First seed would have been the Eagles. So Eagles versus 49ers. I would have had the Eagles beat out the 49ers. I don't know what I was thinking there. Can't believe my blind fandom had this happen. Then it would have had the Vikings versus the Cowboys. The Vikings were in the second seed. I would have had the Cowboys beat out the Vikings. Oh boy. And then And then the AFC divisional round, I would have had the Chiefs versus the Patriots. I would have had the Chiefs beat out the Patriots. And the Ravens versus the Chargers, I would have had the Ravens beat out the Chargers. Then the NFC Conference Championship, I would have had the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Oh, brother, what was I thinking here? My blind fandom really took over. I mean, the Cowboys and the Eagles, boy. Both from the NFC East, and I would have had the Eagles beat out the Cowboys. My blind fandom really got in the way of these picks. Then the AFC Conference Championship, I have the Chiefs beat out the Ravens, and the Super Bowl 54. My prediction would have been the Eagles versus the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid's former team. His new team versus his former team. And then I had the Chiefs beating the Eagles. So I was right about that. I was right about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl in the end. So yay. But then I had the Eagles. Oh my God, what was I thinking? I had the Eagles making it to the Super Bowl. But at least my blind fandom didn't get in the way of the Chiefs beating the Eagles. But yeah, so what ended up actually happening was in the NFC wildcard round, it was the Vikings versus Saints. It was the first game. Then the Vikings ended up beating the Saints. That was an interesting game. The Drew Brees didn't play that great in that game. I don't think he's great in the playoffs anymore, but you know. And then it was the Seahawks versus the Eagles, and then the Eagles lost due to Carson Wentz getting injured because of a dirty hit by Jadeveon Clowney. That was, whew. And then AFC Titans. AFC wildcard round was the Titans versus the Patriots first game. Yeah. And then the Titans ended up being the Patriots due to Tom Brady throwing a pick six. Wow, way to go, Patriots. And then it was the Bills versus the Texans, and the Texans ended up being the Bills due to Deshaun Watson having a really, really, really good game. I mean, he was really clutch during that game. Yeah, and the Bills and Josh Allen wasn't at his best. The Bills' defense weren't at their best. And then moving on at the NFC Conference Championship, it was the Vikings versus the 49ers. That was the game of the running backs. 49ers ended up beating the Vikings. So, yeah. And then Seahawks versus Packers. Packers ended up beating the Seahawks. AFC Conference Championship, we had the Ravens versus the Titans. The Titans beat out the Ravens. I feel like I was like one of the only people that had a gut feeling about that, but I don't know. They really didn't implement the run enough for that game. They really should have implemented the run. Then we had the Texans versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs beat out the Texans due to Patrick Mahomes being clutch and the Chiefs defense actually being pretty decent. So then we had did I say conference championship? I meant to say the divisional round. My apologies. Now we have the conference championship. Then was the 49ers versus the Packers, right? Yeah, 49ers versus the Packers for the NFC Conference Championship. We had the 49ers beat the Packers, making it to the Super Bowl 54. And that was a pretty interesting game. I mean, Aaron Rodgers can't stand that 49ers defense. That four defensive linemen really killed him that game. Then we had the Titans versus the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes did his stuff, beat out the Titans. And then it was the Super Bowl, and then Chiefs versus 49ers. As we know, Chiefs beat out the 49ers, so I was right about who made it to the Super Bowl in the end. So that's all that really matters to me. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the prediction video. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you my score because I didn't keep track. But at the end of the video, I'm going to show you the score of my predictions to see how correct it was. I believe I got a C plus. It wasn't bad. But man, I think this might be one of the longest videos I've ever recorded. It was fun, but it was long. It was definitely long. Getting really tired. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm ready to sleep. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it made your day better. Even though there's a lot of stuff going on right now, hopefully this video makes your day. Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see you on the next one.